What's up, guys? It's MB Boxing, and today I'm going to be predicting the outcome of Kenshiro Teraji versus Hekkie Budler, and this is going to be a 12-rounder for the unified WBC and WBA light flyweight world championship, and this fight is going to be Monday, September 18th from the Ariake Arena in Tokyo, Japan, and this fight is going to be broadcasted on ESPN Plus in the United States, and it will be broadcasted in the morning of Monday, September 18th, as I mentioned before, but it will be in the United States around like 6 a.m., and the main event should be on at 8 a.m. But to get into both fighters' resumes, Kenshiro Teraji fighting out of Japan. He holds a record of 21 wins, 1 defeat with 13 wins coming by way of knockout. He is currently ranked number 1 by BoxRec in the light flyweight division. He is no doubt the number 1 fighter at 108 pounds, and he is the current unified WBC and WBA light flyweight world champion. He's also had another reign as light flyweight world champion from 2017 to 2021, where he was just the WBC light flyweight champ. To list his 1 defeat and some of his best wins, he obviously lost in that huge upset to Masamichi Yabuki in late 2021. Then he came back in their rematch and dismantled Masamichi Yabuki, just knocking him out in 3 rounds. And to list some of his other best wins, he's defeated Hiroto Kayaguchi in an all-out. That fight sort of reminded me of when Crawford fought Spence, but at obviously a much lower weight. Both Kayaguchi and Teraji were the top guys at 108 pounds. Both of them had titles, and it was going into it, it was supposed to be a very close war. But in the end, Kenshiro Teraji just dominated Hiroto Kayaguchi and stopped him in 7. To list some of Teraji's other best wins, he's defeated Milan Melindo by TKO in round number 7. He defeated Ganijan Lopez by majority decision and defeated Pedro Guevara by majority decision. And in his last fight, he dominated Anthony Ascolagua and stopped him in 9. But to get his opponent's resume, Hekkie Budler, fighting out of South Africa, holds a record of 35 wins, 4 defeats, with 11 wins coming by way of knockout. He is currently ranked number 7 by BoxRec in the light flyweight division. I personally think that he should be higher than that. He is the former IBO light flyweight world champion, but most importantly, he is the former unified WBA and IBF light flyweight world champion. And he's also the former WBA and IBO minimumweight champion. And to list his 4 defeats and some of his best wins, he's lost by TKO in round number 10 to Hiroto Kayaguchi, who I mentioned before was a fighter that Kenshiro Teraji dominated. And then he also lost by split decision to Milan Melindo, and that's also a fighter that Teraji dominated. He also lost by unanimous decision some years ago against Byron Rojas, and he also lost many years ago again by split decision against Gideon Buthelezi in South Africa. But to list some of his best victories, his most recent best win was that unanimous decision victory, that upset over Elwin Soto. Went into that fight, was losing the earlier part of the fight, won the later half, and then scored a knockdown to win by a point on all 3 judges' scorecards. Very close, very tight fight there. And the judges surprisingly got it right in Soto's hometown and home country of Mexico, with the crowd cheering even when Soto would miss punches. But it was a very good performance from the judges and a very good performance from Budler in that fight. And then another one of Budler's best wins is defeating Ryoichi Taguchi by unanimous decision. He also has a corner stoppage victory in 7 over Joey Kanoi. He's also defeated Chao Zhang by unanimous decision, and he's defeated M. Kosetani Joy by split decision. Sorry about that if I pronounce his name incorrectly. But in my opinion, this fight is definitely a good matchup. Hekkie Budler definitely earned the shot at the world title. I believe his fight with Elwin Soto was for a WBC eliminator. Could have been a final eliminator. But yeah, definitely earned this shot. Got that big win over Elwin Soto, who was a former champion trying to rise up in the ranks at the time. So yeah, very good win there for Hekkie Budler getting this world title shot. Two guys who are definitive, I would say top 5 guys at 108 pounds. I definitely think Hekkie Budler is not ranked number 7, which BoxRec has him. Definitely ranked higher in my opinion. And Kenshiro is the number 1 guy at 108 pounds. So, I mean, when it comes to predicting this fight, it's not really that hard of a fight to predict. Kenshiro, I think, is just much better than a lot of the guys in the weight class. Especially when he showed that when he dominated Kayaguchi. But how I see this fight playing out, I think that Hekkie Budler will really just throughout this entire fight just try and box. He doesn't really have too much power behind his shots, only 11 knockouts and 35 wins. When I see him fight, he mostly just tries to land pity patter shots, tries to score points. And he's 35 years old. He's at the sort of end of his career. So, yeah, I really just think that Kenshiro is going to dominate in this fight, if I'm going to be 100% honest. I mean, maybe in the earlier rounds, Hekkie Budler might be able to win like the first or second round, maybe one of the first 3, just by being a bit more active behind the jab, because he starts out fairly active, I would say. I was watching his fight against Hiroto Kayaguchi earlier, and I'm planning on posting a highlight video for that. And yeah, he was just starting out active and started out fairly strong in that fight, which was sort of opposite to how he started against Elvin Soto, where Soto was like up 6-0, and then Soto lost the last 6 and got dropped, so that's why he lost that fight. But, I mean, Hekkie Budler, he does put together some fast combinations, has fast hands, but not that much power behind him. However, Kenshiro, he's got fast hands, he's got very good power as well. So I think that throughout this fight, Kenshiro is going to be the one going forward. Hekkie Budler, obviously the one backtracking. The earlier part of this fight, I think Kenshiro should just be the one that's more active, throwing the harder and better shots. And I think, like, let's say after 4 rounds, could be 39-37, 40-36 in favor of Kenshiro. As the rounds go on, Kenshiro is going to start to find more openings, land better shots. Hekkie Budler is just going to really, like I said before, is try and stick behind that jab. But I don't really think he's going to have too much success, if I'm going to be 100% honest, because he's just much, much older, and I don't think he has enough power to keep Kenshiro off him. And Kenshiro isn't like just a pure pressure fighter, but he's really more of a boxer puncher, I'd say. But he likes to go forward and throw good combinations. It's not like a guy who just goes forward with his head up, just throwing big hooks and just not too effective. Kenshiro is very effective. It's almost like how Inoue presses. He goes forward, doesn't really rush in, just throws his shots, bounces off, goes back in, throws his shots, and just picks his opponents apart. And that's what I think is going to happen in this fight. I think Kenshiro is just going to be picking Budler apart as the rounds go on. He should be up, let's say, probably, like, let's say after 6 rounds, 7 rounds, could be up 6-1, 5-1, 59-55, 69-64. And then I really think at the start of, like, the 8th round through the 12th round, really in those middle rounds, I think Kenshiro is going to start to break down Budler. And then at any point in those later rounds, from like rounds 8 to rounds 12, around there, I think that Kenshiro is going to stop Hekkie Budler. I think he's going to get that late stoppage victory in the later rounds, because Hekkie Budler, he has a very good chin, has only been stopped once in his career, and that was by Hiroto Kayaguchi. But I think in this one, Kenshiro is going to get the stoppage victory, most likely in the later rounds, from what I think. But in the end, he's, I think, going to get that stoppage. Just a much younger guy, coming off of some good wins. Hekkie Budler, although he's coming off some good wins too, he's just much older and hasn't looked in that exact form that when he was unified champion back in like 2017, 2018. So if you made it this far in the video, comment down below your prediction on this fight and your thoughts on my prediction as well. And I mean, I don't really know if I'm going to be doing a fight review on this one, considering it's on a Monday and I got school, so I don't really know what time I said earlier that the main event will probably be on around 8 a.m. I'm hoping it's earlier than that so I could watch the fight and get a review in. But yeah, I mean, I probably won't be doing a fight review on it, just depending if it conflicts with, obviously, the start of my school. But yeah, I mean, nonetheless, it should be a good fight. And if you guys don't have school or work, or if you guys have a break or something, you guys should go check this one out in the morning this Monday, if you're watching in the United States as well. But yeah, it should be a very solid fight card as well. So overall, I am picking Kenshiro Teraji to defeat Hekkie Budler by late stoppage, most likely from rounds 8 to rounds 12, to retain his unified world titles. And yeah, that's really it. I'm MB Boxing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.